Imagine you've spent the last 10 years of your life climbing a massive ladder. You've sacrificed sleep, missed family dinners, and pushed through exhaustion, all to reach the top. Finally, you get there. You look over the edge, only to realize the ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. We live in an era of hacks. We want the 10-minute workout, the 3-step wealth formula, and the personality ethics that teach us how to fake a smile to get what we want. But deep down, you feel it, don't you? The gap between how successful you look and how effective you actually feel. In 1989, Stephen Covey released a manifesto that didn't just change business. It changed the human operating system. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People isn't about management, it's about character. It's the difference between seeming and being. Today, we aren't just summarizing a book. We are realigning your ladder. Before we hit the habits, we must understand the paradigm. If you are lost in New York, a map of Chicago won't help you, no matter how hard you work or how positive your attitude is. The map is your paradigm, the way you see the world. Habit 1. Be proactive. Most people are reactive. If the weather is good, they feel good. If someone is mean to them, they become defensive. They are like a soda can. Life shakes them up, and they explode. Being proactive means realizing that between a stimulus and your response, there is a space. In that space lies your freedom to choose. Think about a nasty email from your boss. The reactive choice is venting to colleagues and ruining your afternoon. The proactive choice is realizing your boss is stressed and choosing to provide a solution instead of an ego clash. Look at your circle of concern, things you worry about but can't control, versus your circle of influence, things you can change. Effective people spend 90% of their energy inside the circle of influence. Close your eyes. Imagine you are attending a funeral. You walk to the front of the room, look into the casket, and you see yourself. Now listen to the 4 speakers: a family member, a friend, a coworker, and someone from your community. What do you want them to say about you? What kind of father, daughter, or leader were you? Habit 2 is the habit of personal leadership. Everything is created twice, first in the mind, then in reality. If you don't consciously design your life's blueprint, you are living by default, following the scripts written by your parents, your peers, or social media algorithms. When building a startup, most people start by buying a desk and a laptop. The effective person starts by defining the values the company stands for. Write a personal mission statement, not a to-do list, but a to-be list. Ask yourself, if I lived every day like today for the next 20 years, where would I actually end up? Habit 1 says you are the creator. Habit 2 is the first creation. Habit 3 is the physical manifestation. This is the habit of time management, but Covey hates that term. You can't manage time, you can only manage yourself. He introduces the time management matrix. Quadrant 1 is for crises and deadlines. Quadrant 2 is for relationship building, planning, and personal growth. Quadrant 3 is for interruptions and most emails. Quadrant 4 is for mindless scrolling and busy work. Effective people stay out of quadrants 3 and 4. But more importantly, they shrink Quadrant 1 by spending most of their time in Quadrant 2. Think about spending an hour meal prepping so you don't have to scramble for unhealthy food during a crisis. Learn to say no to the good so you can say yes to the best. Schedule your big rocks, the things that matter, before you fill your jar with sand. We now move from the private victory to the public victory. Covey introduces the emotional bank account. Every interaction you have is either a deposit or a withdrawal. Kindness is a deposit. Breaking a promise is a massive withdrawal. Habit 4. Think win-win. Most of us are scripted in win-lose. If I win, you lose. It's the scarcity mindset. But life isn't a zero-sum game. Win-win is a frame of mind that constantly seeks mutual benefit. In a salary negotiation, instead of trying to squeeze every penny out of the employer, you look for a structure where your bonuses are tied to the company's growth. You both get rich together. If you can't find a win-win, go for no deal. It's better to walk away than to create a solution that leaves one party resentful. Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. This is the single most important habit for communication. Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. They are constantly autobiographical, saying they know how you feel and telling you about their experience. Practice empathic listening. Repeat back what the other person said and how they feel. Don't judge. Don't advise. Just witness. When people feel understood, their defensive walls drop, and real problem-solving begins. This leads to habit 6, synergize. This is the culmination of all previous habits. Synergy is the idea that 1 + 1 = 3, or 10, or 100. It's when two people with different perspectives work together to create a third alternative that neither could have thought of alone. Value the differences in others. If two people have the same opinion, one of them is unnecessary. Imagine a man sawing down a tree. He's been at it for 5 hours. He's exhausted. You say, "Why don't you stop for a few minutes and sharpen that saw?" He pants that he doesn't have time to sharpen the saw because he is too busy sawing. Habit 7 is the habit of renewal. It surrounds all the other habits. To be effective, you must preserve and enhance the greatest asset you have, you. You must renew yourself in 4 dimensions. Physically, through exercise and nutrition. Socially, by making deposits in your relationships. Mentally, through reading and learning. And spiritually, through meditation or nature. This isn't self-care in a fluffy way. This is maintenance for a high-performance machine. If you don't take 1 hour a day for yourself, you aren't being hardworking, you are being ineffective. But let's go deeper into the soul of these 7 principles, because understanding them is one thing, but embodying them in a world designed to distract you is another battle entirely. Many people try to change their behavior from the outside, like painting a dying tree green to make it look healthy. But effectiveness is not a jacket you put on, it is a root system you grow. It requires a shift from the independent stage, where you think you can do it all alone, to the interdependent stage, where you realize that the highest achievements of humanity are born from collective work and shared vision. You must recognize that your character is essentially a composite of your habits, and because they are consistent, often unconscious patterns, they constantly express your character and produce your effectiveness or ineffectiveness every single day. This is the heavy lifting of the human experience. It is the silent work of waking up early to think, of choosing integrity over convenience when no one is watching, and of holding yourself accountable to the mission statement you wrote in the quiet of the night. It is about moving from the social mirror, which reflects back what others expect of you, to the internal mirror, which reflects who you truly are. This transformation requires a radical patience that our modern society lacks. We are trained to expect instant results, but the 7 habits operate on the law of the farm. You cannot cram on a farm. You cannot forget to plant in the spring, play all summer, and then hit the soil hard in the fall to get a harvest. The earth doesn't care how much of a hustler you are, it only cares if you follow the natural laws of growth. Your life is no different. Every small choice you make to be proactive, every moment you spend listening deeply to a loved one, and every hour you dedicate to sharpening your mind is a seed planted in the dark. You might not see the fruit tomorrow, or even next month, but the law of the harvest is inevitable. If you nurture the roots of character, the fruit of success will eventually take care of itself. This is the profound shift from a life of frantic activity to a life of quiet power. It is about becoming the architect of your own soul, building a structure that can weather any storm because it is anchored in timeless, universal principles rather than the shifting sands of public opinion or temporary trends. Stephen Covey's message is ultimately a law of the harvest. You cannot trick the soil. You cannot plant seeds today and expect a crop tomorrow. Real change comes from the inside out. You cannot have a successful career if you haven't mastered your character. You cannot have deep relationships if you haven't mastered yourself. So here is my question for you today, and I want you to be honest. Looking at your life right now, are you busy sawing with a dull blade? And if you are, do you have the courage to stop, step back, and start sharpening the saw? Because the world doesn't need more successful people who are empty inside. It needs people who are effective, grounded, and driven by a compass, not a clock. The choice is yours. What is the first big rock you will put in your jar tomorrow?